So I am taking a session which is a little bit early for schedule, like writing a robust study protocol using ICMR ad-hoc format. Actually, since yesterday we are more learning about the techniques, what is needed, what is expected. But when you have like example of having a very good shop and not presenting it well, and they are not having a good showroom, so people doesn't go to it. Or sometimes shop doesn't have good material, but they have good showroom, and the people used to go to them. So this is sometimes happen with a protocol writing also. You have good concept, you have good ideas, but you don't present it well. So you don't get funding. Because whatever we need in 4 to 5 pages, and you should be able to give all the things clearly to us, what we want to do, how we want to do, and what will be the outcome of it. So this is very important to understand like how to use ICMR ad hoc format to write a study protocol. So here I will also discuss a little bit about the funding. So next slide, please. So this is the grant cycle where we say we write a grant, we get a funding, we do research, and we publish our results. So this is the standard phenomena which should be the thing, but sometimes it happens like people do research, they get results, but they don't publish it, and they keep it with them, and they again write the protocol, and they get the funding, and then after getting 2 or 3 funding on same concept proposal, they publish it, and same time whatever they get additional funding, they use it for additional activities, which is not right. So we should more focus on the first part of it, like how it should be the more. Next slide. So before applying to funding, every researcher think our research is solidifying, but our funding is more vaporizing. We are doing the good research, but still we are not getting the funding. So this is the concept why it is important to understand how to apply for research funding for ICMR especially, and how to use the existing format. So this is Dr. Rucha was telling every time, like when we will submit, ICMR headquarters will do this. When we will do ICMR headquarters, we will do this. So this is not like the case scenario. We don't put a gun on you, but we have our formats and rules, which is run by a government system. So definitely we are not putting any pressure on you, but we are just clarifying our respect. Whatever we are doing, it is by the rule. So, this is the process flow chart. Whenever you want to apply funding, there is a site. On site, there is a given format. So people, what we have seen in our concept proposal, they are using their own format to submit a protocol. But this is not the case. We have clearly defined a very clear-cut 10-pointer ad hoc format where every pointer you need to be defined. So better you are using your simple format, you use ICMR format. That format gives you a very much clarity about it. And this thing is explaining it from the starting. If you in Google you will put just ICMR, you will get a main site. Then you have to go to grant section. In grant section, you have to go to the extramural ad hoc format, and then you will get a guidelines to extramural research program. Under this section, guidelines, steps are present, and task force, login for proposal, download forms. So you will get this section, guidelines for extramural proposal. So this is the thing you will get here. So here you can download the exact guideline, which is what is expected and what we need from you. So if you are using this guideline, it will increase your getting like funding by 10 to 15% because this would be a proper format. You would be able to express your ideas more clearly. Next slide. So here there are different types of format which is given on website. So here you can go for like task force, but if you are probably like as an individual researcher, if you are submitting as ad hoc format, so you have to download the ad hoc format file. So here there are different types of forms given on the format: acceptance of the project, cost, detailed format of annual progress report, annual statement of account, formal final report, and the final statement of expenditure. So when it is a little bit advanced thing, when you get funding, so there are so many things like annual progress reports, statement of expenditure, what should be the different formats. So each format has been given on the website, but people usually do use their own format. Like when you are completing your 1 year research and you submit your annual progress report in a different format. Sometimes it's caused annoyance to the expert, annoyance to the program officer, and you get cut down your funding for next year, or maybe sometime you will not get your funding if it is not reflecting what you was proposed and what was the proposal and what you have been done. So better you use proper format which is already given on ICMR website. So in ICMR ad-hoc format, there are two clearly very important sections. One is section A, one is section B. Section E is more of administrative information and section B is more of scientific information. So in section A, when you will download this format, you will see this kind of form where you will see section A. In section A, there is no technical information you will be asked for. Just you have to write the research proposal name and then the name of designation of principal investigators or co-investigators. There is, we feel sometimes confusion, like people don't understand this thing probably. When there is multi-centric or multi-site studies, people like there is in multi-centric studies, there is one principal investigators, other are site investigators. But people, what they do, always they write principal investigator. So when it is multi-centric study, one would be the principal investigator, other would be the site investigator or principal site investigator. But when you type it, you send it, and we send it for finance, then it causes it causes confusion. Like who is the like principal investigator for the project? So don't make this mistake, because whenever you will make a mistake, it will take a 15-day cycle to rectify that thing. File will go to finance, it will come back, and then we will send it back. You will correct it, then we will send it back. So you understand, or if you have any confusion, so then you ask us or you ask your program officer. Then there is a principal investigator, co-principal investigator, and co-investigators. So although there is no defined number, but it is always better not to have more than 2 or 3 co-PIs or co-Is, because people what they do, they select one and kind basis or some relation basis, they give 6 or 7 co-investigators or co-PIship, which is even not related. And it is important if you can justify the role of the co-PIs or PIs, so that would be better. Then, very important, the duration of research project. People do again get confused here. So here you have to write 3 things. One is the total duration of project. People like I say 1 year is the total duration. 9 months is for data collection and 3 months for data analysis. But again, people will not consider it like, they will think कि अरे starting के 2 महीने तो recruitment में चले जाएंगे. Then इसके बाद ये होगा, 6 months would be for data collection, 3 months would be for analysis. So total duration would be around 9 months. We are taking funding for 1 year. So people then do this up, which cause again conflict with the finance. You are asking for fund 1 year, you are writing 9 months, 3 months less. So you have to be clear with this point again. Very small points, but these things all cause problem when you submit proposal. Then first year, second year, and third year fund that I will discuss in the later section. Then institute responsible for research project. Then again, like there are research projects like Dr. Sokat is doing with IIT. They have submitted one proposal with IIT. So it should be clearly defined in the project. What is the role of other institute? What is the role of my institute? What component of studies going to conduct that point? What studies are going to be conducted my institute? So, and also the role of PIs, co-PIs should be clearly defined. Who will be responsible for what thing? And if you put all these things, this will give a clarity. Because if you are clear, then we would be clear. Like you have plan of your work. If you will just write 2 or 3 things will be done at one side, 2 or 3 things will be done at one side. It's give a like impression you are not clear like what thing will be happen, what things will happen at what point. So this is very important. Next slide. Then there are some certificates we need: institutional ethical clearances, radio tech material if we are using radio material, institutional biosafety, or institutional ethics committee. So for this, we are having a different session, and Dr. Mathur is going to take these sessions. But it is important to mention all these things, whether it is applicable, not applicable, but just don't leave it blank. If you are leaving it blank, it means you have not attended, you have not read this question. If it is not applicable, just write not applicable. If it is applicable, just write whatever is the fact. Then declaration. Declaration means the most important thing, like people just leave the sites, like principal investigator will do the signature, rest all will not do the signature. Then this will cause a problem again. Finance will cause a query, like the other sites has not done the signature in this form. So this is very important to format, and this is more of administrative. So most of the queries will come from this form, the finance division, so technical parts. So this is we have to take care. Next next section. So this is a little bit my different slide here, and maybe the context I need to explain. Like since yesterday we are learning the different parts, how to, like Dr. Jayashree taken one section, Dr. Prabhadeep taken one section, and we are just listening how to do this, how to write this, how to do sample calculation, how to do standardization, how to do study design. But what all are the use of these things? What we have learned today, we have to reflect all these things into the section B. So that is why if you have seen this Karate Kid movie, in the first half of movie, you will see like the teacher who was the guru of this kid, he was giving it this tribal work, you do this thing, and all the time he was thinking, why is giving me this task and I am not learning anything. But after these practice, he learned that he has learned so many things, and now he can do the real fight. So we'll come to main section. So first thing, title of the project. Here it is not just giving the title of project. Here it is more how robust you wrote your title there. So for that, you must remember the Dr. Jayashree's session yesterday, what she has taught us, what she has explained, like how should be the title. It should be reflected here clearly. Second thing, objectives. Objectives, it should be primary and secondary whenever possible, or it should not be in numbers of 8 or 10. First thing, like people, what they will do, they will write 10 objectives in one protocol, or they will write objectives in paragraph forms. There is no differentiation between what would be your first objective, what would be your second objective. So very much clarity is needed, because if you are writing your title and objectives clearly in this section, this will clarify your methodology and things 50%. Like if those who are reviewing proposals, if they are satisfied your title and objective, you think your half work is already done. Then third point, summary of proposal research. It is kind of abstract. People will just think they will just copy paste from some article and they will put the things here. But this is very important. What I have written, like 5 points: novelty, relevance, aligned with the research gap or national priorities. Then the robust methodology, translational value or public health importance. If you will write just one sentence on all these 5 points, it will give you a brief summary. Because once we start reading your proposal, we first read your summary. If we are not satisfied with summary, sometimes we just become loose in reading the other protocol, and we will just skip or miss few important things. But if you are able to convince these 5 points in this summary, that will give us impression like something is there in protocol. We need to read it sincerely. So this is very important. And Dr. Geeta Menon took a lecture like how to identify research gap. So this is very important aspect that you need to reflect here. What is the research gap and why we are doing it? So it is always important to justify your research. It is not just you have resources. or you have expertise. That is why you are conducting research. But it is more important what is needed and why we are doing. To justify your research, why you are doing it. So this is very important to just keep remember these 5 points. You have to explain novelty, relevance, aligned with the research gap, robust methodology, translational and public health importance. Always try to find out the translational values or public health importance. Although we understand like sometimes basic researcher scientists say कि नहीं इससे तो कुछ नहीं होगा इसमें कुछ नहीं निकलेगा ये तो just basic research but this is not the case. If you are working on a receptor, if you are working on biomarker, you can propose a future thing like if it is done then this would be helpful in making a diagnostic kit, making a treatment or something, and we have planned to collaborate with such thing and such thing. So you always keep your point like what is the importance of public health importance or translational values. In basic research, this is more about the translational values. And in epidemiological research, it is more about the public health importance and OR in public health research. So you always mention this one statement, if it is done, what would be the importance of it? If you are writing these things, this will again increase your chances of getting selected by 10% if you are writing, if you are giving a proper justification. Then, then present knowledge and relevant bibliography. People, what they do, they just copy paste from one of the journal and they will just write the bibliography is this and this has been published. So this should not be the case. Dr. Geeta Menon has taken lecture yesterday. You should be keeping that thing in mind and you should write the thing. Then preliminary work already done by the investigator. So sometimes we feel we have not done anything and we are doing it for first time. But you always remember whenever you start your research, you do a literature review, you do some systematic review, you do some trial, pilot, something, whatever you have done, whatever you are thinking, you just write, you just reflect like this is, although this is you are asking for funding first time, but you have done something in background. If you have not done something in background and you are writing directly, this will give a negative impression. So even people don't write their systematic reviews, their scoping reviews, there are some reviews if they have published, they have done. So always do mention this thing into this section. By that, it will give an impression like whatever you are doing, you have done something in background, you have some past experience. So these things people easily think, "Acha, ये तो कुछ किया नहीं, तो मैंने लिख दिया, not applicable or not done." But this adds a negative point to your protocol writing. So just mention something what you have done, or even if you have not done, please do something systematic review. At least whatever you can do, you do it, and then you write it. This will give some strengthening to your proposal. Then link with the other ICMR projects. Then you nowadays like things are online, so you can see like what is going on. If you have some past project and your current project is linked with your current new project, so you can mention it, or you can identify the other project like ICMR has worked in this activity. Now I am doing this thing. Then if it is successful, this can be clubbed with that, and this can be further useful. So you have to do a reading or background search, and then you can link with other projects. So if you are able to do that, then it will give us some additional value. Next slide. Then list of important publication in last 5 years. Here list of important publication is, if you have relevant publication, then it is best you write your relevant publication. And if you have more publication in like more than 5 years, if you have good publication and you want to show it, then don't paste everything here like 20 or 30 pages, 60 publication you are writing. Most relevant publication you write there. And if you want to provide additional publications, then you should annex these things to the last of the document. And then research plan. This is the most important portion, but one hacking trick I'm giving you, what 10 pointers Dr. Prabhadeep Kaur yesterday told, like 10 points. If you are writing your protocols in these 10 points, your half work is done. Sir has explained very nicely to calculate sample, to identify population, to identify setting, to study design. If you are writing these things in right manner and you are justifying why this research is priority, So there is no reason your proposal will be rejected. But what they do, they will just write one simple sentence. This study will be conducted in hospital in cross-sectional manner. That's all. This is your study design. Everything, no data analysis plan, no ethics, no patient population, nothing. So you just follow 10 pointers given by Dr. Prabhajit Kaur and use these 10 pointers to write your protocol. You just make a skeleton of that and then you start filling the things in that portion. So this thing is very important and don't miss it. Just make a blueprint and then you start filling the things. So that is why I was saying it's a Karate Kid movie example I have taken, because yesterday what we have learned, all these things will be coming here and you have to reflect what we have learned yesterday. You have to show it today in this protocol. Once you are doing it, there is no reason. Then the facilities in terms of equipment. So when people ask for equipment, they ask for like machineries, diagnostics, analyzers. So just remember, if you are having something, then we can support you a little bit. Like this, there is a rule like total funding, like equipment portion should not be more than 20 to 25% of total funding. So we are not here to rebuild your building, just strength. We are here to strengthen your institute, not to build your institute. So you have to understand, if you are having something, then we can give you a little bit more or maybe something more. By that you can conduct this research. But you say कि मैं तो अकेला हूँ, मुझे research करनी है, give me 5 staff, give me this instrument. If you are taking these things, then what is the having a good infrastructure of your medical college or something? So you should be able to conduct research with your existing things. But if you need a little bit help, then you should ask. But if you are expecting everything like computer भी ICMR से मिल जाएगा, laptop भी ICMR से मिल जाएगा, अभी तो हमारे पास printer भी नहीं है, कुछ लोग अलमारी तक, chair तक भी चाहिए होती है उन्हें. So these all things give a negative impression. If your institute doesn't have chair, then how you will conduct research, right? If you don't have space to sit, then how you will conduct research? You are at one place you are asking for ELISA or RT-PCR, and second point you are asking for table and chair. So these things give a little bit negative impressions. So don't go in these menial things. Just think big. You ask. You first clarify strength of your institute. And then you say, we have these 10 things, we don't have these 2-3 things, and we need these 2-3 things as a part of research. So then it will seem justified, right? People will just ask, okay, I have this concept, now give me 1 CR for staff, give me 50 CR, 50 lakhs for equipments, and this is my research. So this is not going to happen. And so these are few things. There you don't justify like why you are taking instruments, why you are taking equipment. Like sometimes what we see, the total cost of implementation of project is 5 lakh or 10 lakh, right? And they are asking for 3 lakh for travel, 5 lakh for publication, 2 lakh for publication. So if you can see your original research is getting done in 7 to 10 lakhs and you are asking more 5 to 7 lakh rupees just for travel. And without any justification, you are doing a research in your lab. It is kind of basic lab, but you are asking for 3 lakh rupees for travel. And there is no sample collection. And you don't justify, you are not justifying what is the reason for this travel. So these things give a negative impression. It doesn't matter how strong is your, then what will happen? Then we will cut down your cost of travel and we will cut down a little bit of your essential cost. So then you will say, ki, passion in the ICMR. So these are very basic things you should follow. This next. This is what I am telling, like when you get a feeling like you get a fund from ICMR, sometimes people feel with this much of grant, only experiment we can do is splitting a fund. There is a reason behind this. There is a reason behind this because you don't justify your things, what you are asking, why you are asking. So next. So there are very much clearly your grant should be like funding part. I am taking it because there is lots of problem TI face. There should be the 4 clear heading. What is the staff? What is contingency? Third, travel and accommodation. if approved, and fourth is equipment. And one should understand each portion should not have 20 to 25% share at the distribution of the amount. Like you should not have like 50% of your amount is going into equipment. It means your institute doesn't have infrastructure. That will give a negative impression. But these things can be exempted with the like sometimes basic research. Sometimes we can consider they need some instrument. So what I'm talking in general sense, but exceptionally everything is accepted. It's justified. So staff salary circular is given on ICMR website. What happens? Like you create your post. ICMR has defined certain types of scientists, B, C, research assistant, office assistant, field worker. So they have given their terminology. What people do, they will create their own post. Field medical officer, there is no such post. And they are giving 80,000 rupees without any justification, without any criteria. Because when you will write your protocol, maybe it will inflate the cost of your protocol or it will reduce the cost, and whatever final approval you will get off that cost, and then you will face a problem. So to avoid all these things, it is better you go to ICMR website or you ask program officer, so what are the rules for salaries? And if you are using ICMR fund, then you have to follow invariably ICMR rules for recruitment of temporary staff. So there is no excuse. Even you are not getting, then it is fine, but you have to follow the ICMR rules for recruitment. So don't put your brain in that. Just follow the rule. Just take the HR guidelines and take staff accordingly. Second thing, contingency. Then people don't understand what is recurring and what is recurring. Sometimes we get example कि सर हमारा प्रिंटर तो एक साल में खराब हो जाता है, तो we are putting printer as a recurring. First year we need one printer, second year we need one printer, third year we are need third printer. So this is not a recurring. Recurring is basically chemicals which you need to replenish. Like most of the time dyes, chemicals, these are the recurring things. And non-recurring is like equipment, like what you are doing, that thing. And I have explained like what is in contingency, what is recurring and what is non-recurring. Next slide. Third thing is travel and accommodation. Like if you are conducting a basic research and there is no scope for travel, don't feel pressure to put, I have to put 20,000 or 50,000 for travel, because whatever you are writing, you need to justify. If you are not justifying, then it will cause a problem. First thing. Second thing, if you are having some operational research or epidemiological research and you are having a travel plan, so it is fine. Then as we have told, it should be clear in your mind what should be your study plan. So you should be able to tell us, I will visit 10 times to Mumbai, average flight cost is 10,000. So I am multiplying 10 by 10 and my staying cost would be 4,000. So that would be a 40,000. So my travel and accommodation cost would be this. So if you are giving your clarification in that manner, it will give us clarity. Like you have your study plan clear in your mind. You know how time you will visit. It is not absolute. It is maybe some 5 to 10% variation we can also accept. But you should have clarity. It should be not like 5 lakhs you have written and you have no justification. You have to go just 2 or 3 times. You don't know how many members will go, how many people will go. So you have to be clear with members, people, accommodation, days. What is your study plan? Then overhead charges. Apart from equipment, you can get overhead charges 3 to 5% on staff and travel section. Not on all sections. You will get overhead charges, and overhead. Sometimes people submit protocol and they ask our institute takes 18% overhead charges. But again, remember, it is not the institute, those who are conducting research, define the overhead charges. It is defined by funding agency. Like here, ICMR defines like how much overhead charges we are going to give you. So it is usually 3 to 5%, and to ICMR institute who doesn't give any overhead charges. Next slide. So these are the things which we consider in contingency, and don't get confused with the equipment section, like e-books, article processing charges, some software, some printing things, some books, some data entry services, transcription charges, translation charges, like in qualitative research or mixed method approach, you need sometimes transcription, translation. So these things covered in contingency. Don't put these things into the equipment, right? And for equipment, when you submit, then you put a cost, right? So nowadays it is mandatory. You should put 3 quotations of anything, and these quotations preferably you should take from the GEM portal. If GEM portal is not available, you should take it from the local vendor. And what people do, they just put a 30 lakh rupees for that instrument that is costing 5 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees. Or sometimes what they do, it is costing higher, 30 lakh rupees, and they just, by their guess, they just write 15 lakh rupees. We will approve it 15 lakh rupees, and then they will ask if the cost of instrument was higher, you sanction it less. So these explanation will not work in the end. So better you put 3 quotation. If you know what instruments you are going to use, so better to take quotation from 3 vendors. You just put all 3 quotations, and we will give you the best price in that available. Although we also accept if there is variation 5 to 10%, we can consider that. But if the amount is in double or triple amount, then definitely either you have to leave the project, either you have to leave the instrument. So it will be on you, because whenever we add money to projects which is already approved, it causes difficulty to adding money. So be clear. And there is one guideline which is available online on ICMR guidelines procurement of goods and services. If you are having more difficulty, you can refer to this guideline. But basic concept is that whatever you are proposing, you should give us the basic 3 quotation from GEM portal or some registered GST number holder vendor. So these are the few things. So just next. So just time. This is the cycle of, like we say in smoking. Also, there is a cycle of submission of protocol in ICMR. Sometimes they feel denial, then anger, then bargaining, then depression, and then finally acceptance. So if, as Dr. Rucha said in the morning, you just keep trying, you will get. But don't forget the basic rules, what is there, and everything is written. Just read carefully, respond what is being asked. According to that, you please respond to that and be specific, not generalized. Okay. So thank you all for your patient listening.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we'll be taking the online participants' question this time, and the physical participants can have a discussion with you later. So first question we have, please mention if my collaborator institute doesn't have a DSIR certificate, can they receive funds from ICMR?
So according for DSIR certificate, it is mandatory. Whosoever is PI, his institute should have the DSIR certificate. Collaborator, whether they have DSIR or not, it doesn't matter, because whenever we will transfer the fund, it will come on the credibility of the PI, and he should be the permanent member, and his institute should have the DSIR certificate. So there is no confusion regarding it. PI institute should have DSIR certificate. This is the standard rule.
Sir, can we revise the title of our proposal at the stage of detailed proposal submission? That means after the concept proposal, they want to revise the title.
If it is not being approved by IIC or technical committee, if you have submitted the concept proposal and you want to revise your title, then definitely you can do it, because it is still not approved. Still, it is not approved. So you can give a justification of your changing of protocol, why you are improving your title, that is fine. But if you have submitted protocol, you have funded with some title, and then you want to change your words or you want to change your title, then be careful. Then you have to change everything from sanction letter to IEC documents. So whatever certificate you are submitting, everywhere it needs to be changed.
Sir, do we need to submit the quotations while uploading the project?
If it is available, better always you give things in advance.
Are there any word limit in the literature review section of the proposal? Can we write it in the tabular form?
Yes, you can write. By the way, you can express your feelings, like what is review of literature has been done, why it is done, what is the, don't just do the review of literature. You just have to conclude at the end what you have done and what is the meaning of this, why you have done and what is, because we do this review to identify research gap. So you have to clearly mention in the end what are the research gap you were able to identify.
Sir, article processing charges, they come under which category?
They comes under contingency category. You can write in justified manner. It is not like these article, you should be having idea like what kind of research you are having and what kind of article processing charges you are asking or for which journal you are asking. You can give a like usual charge for this journal is this. And our study suits this type of journal. So we are asking a justified manner, in justified manner.
Sir, what is the time period from the acceptance of the proposal till the release of the funds?
It's mostly depends on the PIs because the day we keep asking the PIs, please submit your document. For 3 months, they delayed the submission of document. The day they submit the protocol, in the evening we get a call, sir, we have submit protocol, when we will get the money. So it is not the case. Like you take 3 to 4 months in your submission of getting ICs and everything. We also have a justified process here. So it takes around 45 to 60 days at our end, but depending upon the seasonal variations, however it is in epidemiological studies, but seasonal variations are that after the March, government system, for first 3 or 4 months, we don't have money to spend apart for the research. So there is something delay, it is being in April to June if it is being processed.
Sir, I'll request you to kindly answer the other queries in the chat box.